What if everything you desire already exists, not just as a dream, but as a living frequency, vibrating in a parallel version of now? What if the true barrier between you and your ideal life isn't time or effort or worthiness, but an illusion that you are separate from it? Welcome to the hidden law behind manifestation, Quantum Entanglement Decoded. In this episode, we unravel one of the most powerful and misunderstood forces in the universe and show you how to consciously entangle with the version of you who already lives your highest reality. This isn't just theory, this is activation. You're about to discover how your thoughts collapse possibilities, how your emotions program reality, and how the field itself responds not to force, but to frequency. So if you're ready to become the architect of your life instead of the victim of circumstance, stay with us. Your quantum awakening begins now. Most people try to manifest from the surface, repeating affirmations, making vision boards, hoping the universe hears their requests. But without understanding the deeper quantum mechanics of entanglement, their desires float aimlessly like untethered balloons. The illusion of separation, the belief that we are isolated individuals acting in a disconnected world, forms an energetic wall. It blocks the natural flow between intention and realization. The moment we see ourselves as apart from our desires, we introduce friction into the field of possibility. Quantum entanglement shatters that illusion. It reveals that the universe isn't a machine of cause and effect. It's a network of instant, energetic relationships. When two particles become entangled, they behave as one, regardless of space or time. In manifestation terms, this means your thoughts and emotions aren't separate from the outcomes. They are the vibrational blueprint that reality molds itself around. If you keep treating your dream life as something out there, it remains outside your energetic sphere. But once you collapse that perceived gap, creation accelerates. This veil of separation is deeply subconscious, often programmed through cultural, religious, or familial beliefs. You're told you must earn, strive, or suffer to reach your goals. But from a quantum perspective, nothing is earned, it is entangled. And what you are entangled with reflects in your outer life. When seekers begin to operate not from wishful thinking, but from quantum knowing, from the awareness that they are already vibrationally linked to the life they desire, everything begins to shift. Manifestation becomes less about effort and more about alignment with what already is. At its core, quantum entanglement is not just a scientific anomaly, it's a doorway into the nature of interconnected reality. In quantum physics, when two particles interact in a certain way, they become linked or entangled. No matter how far apart they move, a change in one instantaneously affects the other. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance, because it defied classical understanding. But what if this phenomenon isn't just happening in labs? What if it's the very architecture of consciousness itself? You, the listener, are not separate from the fabric of this universe. Your thoughts, emotions, and even your memories are quantum signatures, patterns of energy and information. When you direct your focus and emotion toward a particular outcome, you begin to entangle with that possibility. It's no longer a distant dream. It becomes a mirrored particle in the quantum field. The moment you feel the joy, gratitude, or confidence of already having it, your frequency and that outcome begin to dance in resonance. Entanglement bridges the gap between now and the not yet. This isn't about belief in a mystical system. It's grounded in the behavior of reality itself. Quantum entanglement teaches us that linear cause and effect is an illusion. What really governs creation is resonance. The entangled universe doesn't respond to force, it responds to coherence. That means the more clearly and consistently you feel, see, and align with a desired outcome, the more deeply you entangle with it. And in that entanglement, manifestation becomes not a process, but a natural unfolding. In the quantum realm, particles exist in a state of pure potential, waves of probability, undefined and infinite. But the moment they are observed, those waves collapse into a single outcome. This is known as the observer effect, and it's not just a quirk of physics. It's a mirror of how consciousness shapes reality. What you focus on, you collapse into being. What you ignore remains dormant. But here's the twist. Your attention doesn't just observe, it entangles. Every thought you have is a form of observation. Every emotion is a declaration of focus. When you continuously give attention to a desired experience, you're not just visualizing it, you're weaving it into your energetic matrix. The observer effect means your mind is a sculptor, and reality is clay. If you keep entertaining doubts, fears, or contradictory thoughts, you collapse the wave into a version of life that reflects those energies. But if you train your observation, your focus, to lock onto the version of you that already lives the dream, then reality has no choice but to follow. Here's where it gets mystical. The deeper your emotional coherence, the stronger your observer power becomes. The heart, according to Greg Braden and the HeartMath Institute, emits a powerful electromagnetic field that can shape reality more effectively than thoughts alone. So when your heart and mind become one in observation, when you feel and know something into being, you entangle with it beyond time and space. Reality stops being random. It becomes a mirror of your inner gaze. Desire is not a signal of lack. It's a signal of alignment waiting to be realized. But most people hold their desires at arm's length, thinking of them as something to chase, achieve, or wait for. That mental posture creates dissonance. In quantum terms, it's like trying to entangle with a frequency you're actively resisting. The key is to stop desiring from a place of absence and start entangling with your desired state as if it's already yours. Because in the quantum field, it is. Imagine your dream life exists as a frequency on a radio dial. You don't need to build the station, you only need to tune into it. That's the art of vibrational entanglement, when your thoughts, emotions, and actions begin resonating with the version of you who already has what you desire. You become magnetized to that outcome. You don't just think about it, you live from it. This is what Neville Goddard meant when he said, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled." That assumption is a quantum handshake with the future. To entangle with your desire is to embody it before it arrives. It's to generate the frequency of the end result right now. Joy, freedom, abundance, love, whatever the core emotion is. The more time you spend dwelling in that emotional reality, the more stable the entanglement becomes. It's no longer a wish, it's a resonance. And resonance, not force, is the true architect of manifestation. This isn't fantasy. It's frequency engineering through conscious vibration. The heart is not just a biological pump. It's a quantum conductor, a bridge between the seen and unseen. According to both ancient mystics and modern researchers like Greg Braden, the heart generates an electromagnetic field far more powerful than the brain. And when the heart and brain come into coherence, aligned in emotion and intention, the signal sent to the quantum field becomes amplified, stable, and incredibly effective. This is how emotion becomes the language of entanglement. When you feel deep gratitude, joy, or love in alignment with a desired reality, you generate more than just good vibes. You create a coherent signal that entangles with that reality across space and time. Coherence isn't forced positivity, it's a state of harmonious resonance between thought and emotion. And in that state, the quantum field recognizes you as a clear transmitter, a conscious creator, rather than a chaotic signal. Your intentions become potent, your desires magnetic, your reality malleable. To build this emotional bridge, practices like breathwork, meditation, and heart-focused visualization are essential. When you breathe rhythmically and feel into elevated emotions, you reprogram not only your nervous system, but your vibrational identity. You stop broadcasting from fear and start radiating from fulfillment, and in that shift, quantum bonds strengthen. Your dream reality, already entangled with your soul's blueprint, begins to crystallize into form, not through hustle, but through heart-aligned harmony. In the quantum realm, time doesn't flow in a straight line. It sprawls in all directions. Every decision, emotion, and belief splinters into countless parallel versions of you, each living out different realities. The version of you who has already manifested your dream life isn't a fantasy. It exists right now on a different frequency. Quantum entanglement allows you to reach across the veil and synchronize with that version, collapsing timelines into alignment with your higher potential. You're not trying to become that version of you. You're simply choosing to tune into them. Imagine walking into a room with dozens of radio stations playing at once. Each version of you, the wealthy you, the healed you, the empowered you, is broadcasting a signal. Which one are you hearing? The choice isn't made by effort, it's made by energetic alignment. The thoughts you think, the stories you tell, the feelings you generate. These are the dials on your internal radio. When they match the frequency of that alternate timeline, entanglement occurs, and the bridge between now and then begins to dissolve. What's truly miraculous is that this isn't a metaphor, it's physics. Nassim Haramein and other unified field theorists suggest that all points in time and space are connected through geometric resonance. That means shifting timelines isn't just a spiritual idea, it's a mechanical process governed by frequency. When you become emotionally and mentally congruent with your ideal future, you send out a signal to the quantum field that says, "I am already this." And when the universe receives that coherent signal, it responds instantly, not in delay, but in reflection. One of the most persistent illusions in human perception is the idea of distance, that things are separate, far away, and disconnected from us. But in the quantum world, distance dissolves. Entangled particles communicate instantly, even when light years apart. Why? Because space is not a barrier to energy, it's a perceptual lens shaped by our limited senses. In truth, all points are connected through the quantum field, immediately, infinitely, and intimately. This has profound implications for manifestation. The dream life you imagine, the soulmate, the abundance, the inner peace, isn't somewhere out there. It's already within the field, vibrating in proximity to your consciousness. When you feel separate from what you desire, you reinforce the illusion of distance. But when you understand that entanglement bypasses physical space, you start to interact with reality as a field of information and energy, not as a collection of things you must chase down. Here's the quantum truth. The field doesn't care about geography, it responds to frequency. This means you don't need to go get your dream life. You need to become vibrationally congruent with it. And that congruence collapses all imaginary space between you and the desired outcome. As Neville Goddard taught, you must live in the end, because when you do, time and distance compress. Manifestation ceases to be about effort and becomes about coherence. Entanglement becomes the elevator that bypasses the stairs. Ritual isn't superstition, it's synchronization. In a quantum universe, every intentional act becomes a tuning fork for reality. The entanglement ritual is a daily practice designed to collapse the distance between you and your desires by creating vibrational consistency. Like tuning an instrument, the more often you align, the clearer the resonance becomes. Manifestation becomes less about occasional spikes of inspiration and more about sustained entanglement with the version of you who already lives the dream. Start each morning by stilling the mind, entering the brainwave states of alpha or theta through breathwork or meditation. This opens the subconscious and allows deep access to the quantum field. Once you're centered, visualize your desired reality in vivid detail, not as something you're striving for, but as something you're remembering. Feel it in your body. Anchor it in your breath. Then speak it aloud in present tense declarations. I am already aligned with this reality. Words are vibrational seeds. Emotion is the water that grows them. Close the ritual by entering a state of gratitude, not for what's coming, but for what already exists in the field. Gratitude is the emotional proof of faith. It tells the quantum field you've received the download. Repeat this practice daily. It only takes 10 to 15 minutes, but it recalibrates your entire energetic blueprint. Over time, this ritual doesn't just attract your dream life. It tunes you into the dimension where it's already unfolding. You become the nexus, the entangler, the conscious creator. To live entangled is to no longer see life as a random series of events, but as a holographic reflection of your inner frequency. In a hologram, every piece contains the whole. Likewise, every moment, every encounter, every thought contains a microcosm of your entire vibrational blueprint. You are not a passive receiver of reality. You are its architect, sculpting it moment by moment through the energy you emit and the focus you hold. Living entangled means waking each day with the awareness that your reality is a mirror, not metaphorically, literally. Your relationships, your finances, your health, they are all quantum feedback loops, showing you what you're entangled with vibrationally. If you're seeing struggle, it's not because you're cursed. It's because your signal is out of sync with the version of you that lives in peace, joy, and abundance. And the moment you shift that signal from fear to love, from doubt to knowing, the mirror shifts too. But here's the deepest truth. When you live entangled, you no longer need your desires to come true in order to feel whole. You realize they already exist within you. Your joy is no longer conditional, your peace no longer postponed. That inner wholeness is what finally allows manifestation to accelerate, not because you're grasping, but because you're resonating. In that state, you stop chasing your dream life and start becoming the version of you who already lives it. The quantum field doesn't reward those who wait. It reflects those who remember. Remember who they are. Remember what they're entangled with. Remember that reality is not happening to them. It's happening through them. You're not separate from the life you dream of. You are its frequency, its signal, its echo made flesh. When you align your thoughts, emotions, and intentions into coherence, you don't chase your future, you collapse it into the now. That is the essence of quantum entanglement. You are already connected to everything you've ever desired. So let this be your awakening, not a fleeting insight, but a shift in how you walk, breathe, and speak your existence. The universe doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be resonant. And when you are, the mirror of reality cannot help but reflect your inner truth. If this transmission stirred something deep within, like this video, and subscribe to the Cosmic Awakening channel, you're not just watching content, you're activating consciousness.